Alright, so it's kind of starting to snow a little bit, but we're going to a Christmas light cruise tonight. So we got some lights on the Dodge here, and we still have to put some more up on the front, but there's a couple more things we got to do. Put the other two tires on it, bleed the brakes, and then brake light switch,
The wires, wire up the headlights.
and then all the lights don't work for various reasons, so we have this harness that we're going to run to all the lights and get those working, and then we also just bought a headlight switch for it. So we do have a new brake light switch that we're going to install, and then we have to bleed the brakes a little bit more. And what did you do to the carburetor?
I adjusted the float to see if that would help. So it was down half, so I bent the tab so it lets the bolt get a little fuller.
So hopefully that'll fix the issue of it cutting out on those hills. So we got the brake split, and we did find a little bit of air coming to the rear. Not really much up front, so the pedal's not perfect, but it's definitely better. We installed the new brake light switch, and this is the harness that we have. It's down there. So we're gonna run that to pretty much make all the lights work, and then we got to decorate the cab with lights. I didn't really show our new exhaust that we made, but that's pretty much it. Now we're gonna take it for a drive and see if adjusting the float and the carburetor help with the acceleration issue, and then also we'll get the oil change. We never did that. Alright, we're coming up to the hill where we used to always cut out. Well, I got the harness ran back here, but that light isn't coming on, and put power and ground to it. It's still not really working, so we're gonna see if we can't get it to light up. Well, I ran the harness down the frame rail, and now we're gonna run it inside the cab, and we're gonna use this for the headlights. We need some stuff for the wiring, so I'm gonna go to the store. We got one of the lights almost done, and then he's working on the fronts, so we're getting there. Well, I got the harness ran back to this light, and I actually had to make another ground that grounded this bracket to make the light actually work. So now this is gonna go to the other side, and it's just the left side light and then the marker light, and then I ran another ground to that side, and then we're gonna tie in the lights up there to the running lights. So hopefully this is long enough to make it to that side. There are no fuses on this entire truck, so we screwed this fuse block in underneath the dasher on the passenger side, and this is our new headlight switch that we're gonna mount up in the dash there. So you can see the old one hanging down. So now I'm gonna tie these lights in over to the tail light on this side, and that one's all done. As you can see, the harness there, that's gonna go over to here. So yeah, we're getting really close. Okay, so got some heat shrink here, and I got the 1-butt connector on. So I'm gonna run the wiring underneath this piece of angle iron. So I got a piece of baling wire so I can pull the pull this through it. Well, I haven't heat shrinked them yet, but got the wire ran across, and I realized that that's over instead of under, but we can, these are coming off after today, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to heat shrink those and then run that wire down to the tail light, and then hook the other harness up, and we're good to go on the back. Alright, so my dad's going to pull this light off so we can clean it up. And then these two wires here, one of them came from the running lights on the right side, and the other one came from up top. So I just connected them together, and then this one will go to the running light here. This is the brake light, and then this is our redundant ground. So how's that looking there?
It's actually clean.
Sweet, that one might actually work.
It didn't, but...
Well, I'm gonna get to work. When we first bought the Dodge, none of the lights worked, and the headlight switch was actually hanging down from under the dash. So we installed a new headlight switch right there, and you can see there's the old one. And we put a fuse block inside the vehicle because there was no fuses at all for anything. So we have a main fuse coming off the battery there. So we finally got all the lights working, so I thought I'd take a video. We replaced the brake light switch. And then there are the rear lights. And then we're going on a Christmas Light Cruise, so that's what all the Christmas lights are about. So before we go on the cruise, we wanted to see if our alternator is actually charging. So we're at 12.4 volts.
Here, take the negative wire off.
Looks like we need an alternator. Well, we went to the auto parts store and had the alternator tested, and it passed. And they didn't even have the alternator in stock anyways. So...
Or did they even know what it was?
So it runs into this harness here. We tested continuity to ground, and it's grounded. So we're gonna try a couple more things and see if we can get this. Sorry. We're gonna try a couple more things, see if we can't get it to start charging. Another thing we did notice when we took it off is there was a lot of corrosion on the number 2 terminal. So we cleaned that up, and we're hoping that maybe that was the cause of the problem. Well, we got the truck decorated for the Christmas cruise tonight. And I'll be falling behind in my Jeep, but the lights are off at the moment. But just in case something happens, I could potentially tow this thing home. Irony, but we determined that the alternator is probably bad. We removed the battery cable and it died right away. And so we're thinking that it's probably the bad alternator because we had it running and actually just hooked the signal wire up, but we didn't hook to the actual battery. And we didn't have any voltage coming out of the alternator, so we're thinking it needs a new alternator, which we ordered and will be here Monday. And so the last thing we really wanted to get done was the oil change, so we're going to do that. We have about an hour left before we have to go head down there. So
You filming?
mm-hmm. Need to go back home. So we're gonna put some Rotella 1540 in this.
Okay, well, just keep an eye.
No, I think whatever, you know,
Well,
yeah, you know, I'm doing it wrong, but thanks. Yeah,
That'll work.
pretty much.
Can't even see you guys. Well, I made it a little ways and popped the fuse. So I don't think we put a big enough fuse in. So I just ran home and got some more. I pulled over on the side of the road.
Are you having a stroke, Kenzie? You good?
What? Guys, I'm eating fish. I'm so happy.
I'm in a Jeep. I'm happy.
They're 25. That's all I could find.
Where did she go? How do I flip my camera?
Well, I don't really know how well you can see, but we just got back from the Christmas Light Cruise, and the brakes are definitely bleeding down. It looks like the master cylinder is leaking, so we're going to have to look into that. We also put the 25 amp fuse in there, and that stopped the lights from blowing, so the 15 just must not have been enough. I was looking for a 20, but I couldn't find one. So yeah, ended up being pretty good.